Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Today I'm going to talk about the 2020 Bitcoin block reward halving, include a simple and concise explanation of what this involves, what's in store for Bitcoin in the future, some price predictions from high-profile crypto analysts, in addition to an overview of the prices and some information about consensus, so some news that's come out of this crypto conference in the USA, underway at the moment, and more coming up in the video. To begin, I've made this presentation giving an easy to understand explanation of what this halving event involved. This image represents how Bitcoin, or the supply of new Bitcoin, is being halved every 4 years and why this is significant, especially with an increasing demand of the crypto asset. Okay, to give you a basic explanation of how this works, we have a block of Bitcoin that is being produced, and every 10 minutes we have a new block of this being produced or mined. What is meant by mining? In simple terms, think of advanced computers and machinery that crack these really complex codes. And this cycle repeats itself. So every 10 minutes we've got a new block and so on. And all of these blocks are linked. In return for solving these complex equations, the miner receives X amount of Bitcoin per block. As of today, this figure now stands at 6.25 Bitcoin. And for the past 4 years up until yesterday, that was at 12.5. So to give you an idea, just jumping back to this first image, right in the beginning, in the first 3.5 to 4 years of Bitcoin, we could see the reward is very generous, but the Bitcoin price was peanuts compared to now, whereby we have a supply of new Bitcoin that is 8 times less than what we had in the beginning. To discuss these production rates in further detail, let's have a look at how many Bitcoins were being made per day based on these different time frames. So the first 3.5 to 4 years, we had 50 per block. This equates to 7,200 Bitcoin per day. For those who aren't sure how I got to this number, so we get 50 and we multiply this by 6 to represent 300 Bitcoin mined per hour. We then multiply this by 24 and we get that figure of 7,200. And if we go through the other period, and we can see the daily supply of new Bitcoin has been significantly reduced compared to its inception. Another thing to bear in mind as well, going back to this image, this will halve every 4 years and will reach a point which is expected to occur at roughly 2140, whereby the reward will be 0 or very close to that figure. Bitcoin prices increase significantly. I'll cover the historical price data shortly. It will be interesting to see whether the price increases or decreases, to what extent and over what period of time. And a quick reminder before I continue, as a disclaimer, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and please always do your own research. To summarize this information, we have one new block of Bitcoin produced every 10 minutes approximately. Miners receive 6.25 Bitcoin per block at the time of making this video. The block reward is halved every 210,000 blocks. The reward is to hit 0 Bitcoin by roughly 2140. And on top of all of this, there will only ever be a maximum of 21 million Bitcoin ever produced, which is built into the system. This can't be changed. Additionally, it's important to factor in that estimates of 3 to 4 million Bitcoin have been lost forever, which will further add to the scarcity of this asset. If you're listening to this video months or years down the track, do check out bitcoinblockhalf.com for up-to-date information. Back to this Bitcoin Block Half website. So if we scroll down and have a look at the prices or the historical price data, if we zoom in here, and this is courtesy of TradingView, a few months after the first halving, we had a major price increase. Actually, let me zoom out so we can see. And bear in mind as well, this is a logarithmic scale. So we had a huge price increase. That was about $12, and it shot up to, at one point, hit about $200 about 6 to 9 months after that first halving. And then we had a retracement, and that just shot up again. And it got into, it was just shy, that got up to about 1,000 within a year and a half of this first halving. So that is a massive price increase in a relatively short period of time. Fast forward to the second halving in the middle of 2016. And as many of you would remember, or if you're new to the space, 2017, it was an insane year for crypto prices. The Bitcoin price went from about $900 all the way up to nearly $20,000 in the space of 12 months, and the entire market went ballistic. Since then, as many of you would be aware of, we've had a major pullback in the price. There is still enough faith in the crypto sphere to try and get these prices past their all-time highs again. If we were to continue this graph, it would be interesting to see what happens in the coming months and years. So what will happen to the Bitcoin price in the near future? Well, some high-profile crypto commentators or those with a financial background have weighed in with their thoughts about this. And there's this piece here from Decrypt, from 0 to 10 million experts, in quotation marks, on Bitcoin's price post-halving. And this was fresh off the press. This was made a few hours ago. I encourage you to read through this. Realistically, no one has a crystal ball. I don't give timeframes anymore. There is so much uncertainty and volatility in the space, it is very difficult to predict exactly when. Interestingly, this article makes no reference to the famous venture capitalist and Bitcoin enthusiast Tim Draper. Now, why am I mentioning his name? Two reasons. One, he predicted, this was back in 2014, so this is one from the archives, at a time when the price was hovering between $350 and $600 throughout most of that year. Look what happened in 2017. It not only hit 10,000 that year, as mentioned before, it got to nearly double that figure. He also predicted this bear market throughout 2018 and early 2019, as mentioned here in this article. So now the man himself predicts at some point, if I jump over to this tweet from Block TV News, which includes a snippet of this interview back in December 2019, it says here, and I do quote, "It looks like it will be something like 6 months to a year after the halvening that we will cross 250,000 per Bitcoin. It is pretty likely we are going to hit this figure by the end of 2022 or early 2023. Okay, considering he has maintained a good track record of these predictions so far, it will be interesting to see if he gets this right. Based on this information, I wouldn't rule that out, in addition to the very scarce supply. Anyhow, plenty to read if you're interested in familiarizing yourself with who's saying what in regards to the price and what time frames and all that jazz. Information there. A couple more things before talking about the prices. At the moment, this block reward halving has coincided with Consensus Distributed. Every year we have this conference or summit which is run by CoinDesk, or they're actively involved in this, and we have some of the best and brightest minds in the crypto and blockchain tech space giving their thoughts and upgrades about what's happening and what's expected for the future. At the time of making this video, day one is finished. However, you have the rest of the week to tune in, and some huge names in the space. We have Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, he's down there, who've made a substantial fortune from investing in Bitcoin early on. We have Changpeng Zhao, who is the founder and CEO of one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world, Binance. Vitalik Buterin, who is the creator of Ethereum, in addition to a range of other speakers. On the topic of Vitalik and Ethereum, this Blockonomy piece, fresh off the press, it's titled Ethereum 2.0 is still on track for July launch, Vitalik Buterin. Again, let's see what happens. Seeing is believing. People would be understandably skeptical whether this target can be achieved, or whether we can get Ethereum 2.0 by July. I mean, we've had major delays to all of these different aspects of Ethereum being incorporated into the system. Let's see what happens. Now, as we're wrapping up, a quick digression. For those that are looking at ways to store your crypto offline in a secure manner, Ledger, one of the major hardware wallet manufacturers, so to coincide with this halving, they're now offering their Ledger Nano S for half the price. A quick reminder, none of this is paid advertising. However, if you decide to purchase one of these devices and you use my affiliate link, which I'll include in the description, I receive a small amount in return, and that's at no extra cost to you. So 50% off. I highly recommend checking this out. They have a list of products and the different crypto assets they support available here via Ledger. Okay, to wrap up, let's have a look at the crypto prices. In fact, I'm going to go to Coin Paprika because they give a synopsis of the crypto prices over the past 7 days. So Bitcoin down by 1.2% over the past 24 hours. It's currently at $8,673 per BTC. Ethereum at $188 per Ether. XRP just below 20 cents per token. Litecoin at roughly $42. EOS at $2.44. Tezos at $2.47. We've got Chainlink at $3.65. Stellar's down quite a bit despite having a very good performance over the past 2 to 3 weeks. It is now at 6 cents. Monero at $60. Okay, now a shout out to the listener who told me to cover IOTA's major price gains in a day. And I said to them, let's see how the price fares over a week or a longer period of time. And look what happened. Now, I did not jinx anything. I don't have that power to influence the market. That's for sure. Look at what happened here. The price plummeted after this major increase. My perspective on this, you need to look beyond price gains that have occurred over 1 day, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Look at the medium to long-term trends. Which coins and tokens showing consistent gains over several weeks or months or over a year? That's one thing to factor in. Just because a coin or token has a high market cap does not necessarily mean it's good. There is a lot of rubbish or trash in the top 30, and I will avoid naming names. If you've watched my videos for long enough, you will know what I like and what I'm not very fond of. Anyhow, I'll leave it at that. What are your thoughts on the information I've covered in this video? Some of the price predictions and the information in relation to Bitcoin and what you see here. Oh, actually, before I forget, there's always so much to talk about. If you want to see, and it looks a really cool, interactive and highly illustrative here of Bitcoin and any crypto asset flowing throughout the world, there is this from Fiat Leak. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe and click the bell icon if you want to stay up to date with my latest content. If you have something to say or you just want to say g'day, feel free to leave your feedback in the comments section. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are, and I will talk to you soon. See you later.